Welcome to YAP. If who's here for the first time today? We have a lot of newcomers, so the old timers, please welcome them whenever we start networking. But I'm really excited about tonight's event. I should stand here. Okay, don't put me on the video. Very excited about tonight's event. We have Henok Tesfaye, who has a very inspiring story. I won't even start with a story, you'll hear it from him. So please just welcome him. And it was very nice of him to host us here as well. So thank you, Henok. And please come on up.
Hello. Okay. Thank you all for coming to YAP event this evening. I would like to tell you a little bit about myself and our company. I'm going to read you a little paper about how I started my company and everything. If you have any questions and answer, then we could do later. All right. I want to thank you, the organizer of this event, the young African professional, their staff, and everyone else who have made this evening a success. My name is Henok Tesfaye. I was born in Ethiopia and came to America as a very young man while I was only 17 years old. My parents and several of my other family members arrived at approximately at the same time. When I came to America, I came in search of higher education, better employment opportunity, and a safe and secure environment in the future businesses. Of course, there are many obstacles in your path to become a successful African business in America. There is a language problem, stereotype, race, cultural issues. Still, I didn't let that get me down. I studied hard in college while I was in college, worked as a parking lot attendant while attending college. I worked very hard and always kept my eyes on the prize, which was to own my own parking company and compete with the large national, even international companies. In 1998, my brother Yared and I did just that. We started our own company, and the two of us were the only employee in our company. But we got a small contract to valet parking cars, and we leased a small lot on U Street in Northwest Washington, D.C. And then we got another valet job as soon as we hired additional employees and opened our office on U Street Northwest. Our company was called U Street Parking Inc. at that time. But even though we were on the verge of success, we continued to face the difficulties of getting contracts and awards, and were at disadvantage competing against the corporate giant of the parking company in the world. Of course, hard work, innovation pays off, but we also become certified local small disadvantaged business enterprise in Washington, D.C. and other minority business enterprise in Maryland, Virginia, and Pennsylvania. This is, of course, helps in public arenas, all different aspects. If I may make in part of yours some lesson learned from my origin and subsequent achievement, it is no matter where you are from Africa or Asia or Mexico, and no matter what language or race, there is still a lot of opportunity here in America. But you have to preserve and take advantage of the program that assists that your education, business, or career. Of course, that doesn't mean you should forget about, ignore your culture or tradition, but to be proud of your heritage. Never hide it, or your action will speak louder than your words. I would like to say thank you for coming, and if you guys have any question, I would like to tell you a little bit of story about without a paper. I came to this country in 1990 with $50 in my pocket. When I came here, I didn't have nobody. So I came here just to go to school. I didn't know anything about it. I didn't know I was going to be a businessman. So while I was going to school, I started in high school, which is a 9th grade. And I was working as a part-time parking attendant a company called Colonial Parking. When I was working there, you know, I said, why am I working for people? Why don't I try to create my own company? Because I'm doing all the job here, and I've never seen my boss or the owner in the parking lot. So that's what, I mean, the business strategy came from. So that's why we opened our business in '98. Now we have over 600 employees. As we speak, we manage the Washington Convention Center, and also we manage both airports as we speak, Reagan National Airport, Dallas International Airport, and we also manage the National Baseball Stadium, that's the largest, and we also manage one of the largest FedEx Field Stadium as a subcontractor with another company called Joint Venture Standard Parking. So I mean, I'm here to help anybody who has a questions, and you can talk to me one-on-one. I can help you, you know, I can tell you a little bit about how I got here, and I can give you information about how I got the contract and all the successes. If you have any question, I will answer for you guys. Thank you.
My name is Bogo Masharia. Thank you for your presentation, and congratulations for your success. And success is a loaded word. I'm sure you still have further to go, but I do want to congratulate you for your success at this point.
Thank you.
My question is in regards to how to go about getting certified as a small business. Most of us, when we come here like you as students, or for whatever other reason, we concentrate on what we are doing. The business idea comes much, much later. And yet, to maneuver the system, especially to apply for loans or to know who to go to, is a very difficult thing for foreigners. So would you please talk a little bit about that?
Okay. Thank you. I think that was a very good question. We're a minority. I mean, to become to answer your question about getting certified, I was bidding a lot of contracts. I mean, government contracts, local city contracts, private contracts, and I've never received any information from the local governments or the federal government. So I submit like hundreds of proposals. You know, I don't get anything out of it. Then I start talking to a few people, consultants. They say, oh, you need to become a certified business enterprise. I say, what's certified business? I told them I have a license to operate business. No, you need to become minority business enterprise. Then I went to the government office, 441 4th Street. That's where they get you certified. I start filling out the application. That application is not easy to do. I mean, it takes time. You need someone to help you. And I put the application together. I submitted the application. The process took me almost close to 4 months because I needed a lot of information. And once I got certified, and I become certified business enterprise on the parking industry. So that was on the database of the DC government certified. They put you as a minority certified parking company. Then this RFP came on 2005, which was the convention center parking lot downtown, and everybody was telling me to bid this project as a joint venture with another bigger company, which is this is a bigger contract, $7 million contract, and everybody was telling me, oh, you need to find a partner. You need to find a partner. Then I discussed with my attorney. He said, you're a local guy, you're minority certified. If you can do it by yourself, you can go ahead, do it by yourself. And I did it. I put a proposal together, and I was certified, 100% certified, because they give you credit when you are local, especially local DC residents, and all that. You get all the full 12 credit. And I bid it on a contract. The contract was awarded to me in January 2006 because we became certified. Any DC government contract or a federal contract, it requires minimum of 25% minority participation or 35% participation. So that will help you, even though if you don't have the financial capacity. What you do is, if you becoming a certified agency, the bigger giant firm, they will look for you. They go to the database, they say, oh, who's certified, who's not. If you're certified in the parking industry, or if you're in the health industry, or any kind of industry, they will look for the number and they will call you. That's how the bigger firm would like to, because they can't go there by themselves, because they have to have a joint venture. They need to have some minority company with them in order to get that contract. A giant company, they cannot go and bid a lot of government contracts. They need to have somebody, because they cannot be certified, and they need to have someone from the local people to have a joint venture company to get a contract done.
Yes, good evening. Thanks for coming and sharing with us.
Thank you.
My question goes to a challenge that many small businesses have, which is access to capital for an initial investment. And I don't know whether your first lots were for the management contract, or you also in the beginning or eventually acquired lots in real estate. But if you could speak to your experience with accessing initial funding, or how you were able to address that.
Thank you. I think I can answer that question. Yeah, the financial aspect of if I can talk about myself, in 2000, I believe in 2003 or 4, there was a program called Micro Loan Program under EDG, Enterprise Development Group in Virginia. So I was going to different banks. I'm talking about SunTrust, PNC, all the larger banks. I was looking for a line of credit. They said, oh, $25,000. Can't get no line of credit. $30,000, $5,000. So I decided to go to a different route. When I was selling, I used to sell a car. When I was selling car, these people used to give money for my customers. $5,000, and the people go buy a car from me, they go there and get a loan. And I talked to the president, they said, oh, we can give you up to $35,000 loan. They call it Micro Loan Program under SBA, Small Business Administration. So I applied for that loan. Actually, it was on the Washington Post in 2006 article in December, I believe December 11 or December 6. And I applied for that small business loan for $35,000. It was approved, and that helped me to grow my business. I opened another dealership with that money that I received from them. It was a smaller version of finances, $35,000. It was not a lot of money, but at that time it was very helpful for my business in order for me to incorporate to another business. And to tell you a little bit about, finance experience that I have was through banking. A banking process, I don't know, maybe you'll have it in the future, or maybe you've done it. And the banking experience I have is to have a good relationship with your bankers. Especially, I deal with a smaller bank. The larger banks, because they don't know you, and you always apply for line of credit, loans, because they have this computer system, will decline your application. But when you have a local bank, I'm talking about a smaller bank, always, I like to do business with a smaller bank, where I know the president, where I know the vice president, where you know the decision maker. And I can go to them, hey, listen, this is what I do, this is my contract, and I'm the local guy, you guys are local. Listen, this is the kind of business I want to work with. The smaller banks always very helpful to get, because I deal with Capital Bank, I deal with Georgetown Bank, smaller banks here, because they always been good to me, and I like to give them my business. We have over 600 employees, and we have line of credit with both banks. We work with them. We're very happy and excited, because the smaller banks understand our business. They know what you do, and they're very close to your business. The larger firms, their corporate office might be sitting in Philadelphia or New York or Florida, because they don't have a chance to come to your business to read. But the local guys, you can go have a lunch with the president, and you can take them to your office, and they understand your business. I think that's the kind of relationship in order any businessman can build up a relationship with small banks and the local banks. I think that will help for your business.
Hi, thanks for being here and telling us your story. There are a lot of people who every now and then think, oh, I could go into business and do this, or I can, go out on my own and try this out. What gave you the confidence eventually to make that leap and actually get started on your own?
Thank you. That's another good question. Yeah, I grew up in business, and my mom, my dad, they all had business back home. We were in the transportation business, and I always been in the business with the family. So when I came here, always education, America, we all think about coming, go to school, and get it done, go back home and work. But what I would like to tell people is, don't give up. I mean, if you're a business people, or if you're thinking of opening business, keep on trying. If don't give up as quick as possible. But I mean, like I say, it took me 10 years to get here. My company was incorporated in 1998, but I mean, it took me 10 years to get a lot of contracts. I mean, understand the business. And while you stay in the business, you learn a lot. But don't give up. Any business, it can be a consultant, it can be a parking attendant, it can be a restaurant. They all have challenges. Business owners not easy because you're carrying a lot of financial issues, a lot of credit issues. You have a lot of employees. You have to worry for them because you always can't go home early. If I can tell you a little bit about myself, I'm always out there. I mean, every night my wife always complains, you need to come home, and you got to spend time with your kids. But when you become a businessman, I can tell you now, I mean, you got to choose two things. If you're 9 to 5 guys, you're good. You go home Monday to Friday, you don't worry about business. You get, because when you work for yourself, it's a different story. You have no life, I can tell you. You might see me wearing a nice suit, driving a nice car, but listen, I have problems in the house. Listen, when you go home, your wife will say, she's complaining, oh, you need to find a 9 to 5 job, come home, get a 60, 9 to 5 job. But if you're a businessman, Saturday you go out, because you go to a lot of fundraising, you go to a lot of events like this. I spend maybe out of the 7 days, 3 or 4 days a week, I'm always outside from 6 to 9, 10, because I'm always looking for a job. Let me tell you a little bit about me, because when I go out at night and meeting people, and I always like to stick in my business card. My little kid is 6. I always take him around the restaurant. He says, oh, Dad, you're about to give your business card? He always say that because I'm always thinking my business card. Because I'm trying to promote my business. Everywhere I go, restaurants, nightclubs, I go to the hospitals, I always like, oh, you guys need something? Because I want to promote my business. That's how I network with people. When I walk around with people, I say, oh, this is what I do. My name is so-and-so. I do parking, and oh, you know what? A friend of mine owns so-and-so. You know what? Why don't you give him a call? This is how I build my business. Reference. It's all about word of mouth. We manage 80% of the restaurant and nightclub downtown. I mean, we are the largest valet parking company in Washington, D.C. right now. You see my guys all over downtown wearing a red uniform. I mean, that all came because not with marketing. I don't have no marketing guy because the work we do, I mean, we get the job done. We're always out there. If you read my articles in Washington Post, on the bottom it says, I always keep my red jacket in the car. Because it's not a lie, I'm just telling you the truth. I always have a jacket in my car. If I see my guys getting busy running around, I put my jacket still working, That's the kind of, because you're always working. If you're a businessman, you're always out there working. So this is the experience that I have, I'd like to share with you guys. Thank you.
My name is Shem from Ethiopia. I'm an economist by profession. I'm a big fan of your success. But my question is, I mean, starting a business is easy, but sustaining the business is very difficult. I mean, you said that you had some, business-related experience back home in Ethiopia from family. But like, what conscious decisions did you make to develop your business skills? For instance, to develop your entrepreneurship skills. What kind of training did you get? What kind of books did you read? I mean, because most people, want to rely on on their natural talents without developing their business skills. So I would love to learn about those things. Thank you.
Thank you. That's another good question. I developed my business from experience and looking for another business people and dealing with a lot of local people who has been in the business for so many years. If I can tell you a little bit about my background, I always hang out with a lot of people. I mean, I'm 37 years old. I always hang out with people like 50s and 60s who had a good experience in business. And I asked, business people. I didn't take any classes to become a businessman, especially like to answer your question. But this came from the experience, and maybe I'm gifted, I can say. I'm always open to listen to anybody. I get people call me and say, "Hey, I want to do business," and I listen to them. I get an idea from people. I mean, the experience that I have, I can say I think I'm gifted to become a businessman. This is where I learn a lot of stuff, and I talk to a lot of people. I mean, I deal with, whether it's a young age, middle age, I talk to people about it, and then I build up my relationships and I listen to people. I think that's where my experience came from, and also I can say I'm gifted for business, I believe. Thank you. Any other questions?
So far, I've heard a lot about how you went about creating your business and some of the challenges that you had before you realized that. What I want to know is, what was the biggest challenge that you faced in realizing this?
Thank you. The biggest challenge in my business, I'll tell you, we are a smaller company. We still call ourselves a small business enterprise. The biggest challenge was getting the information, putting proposal together. I can tell you the challenge that I had, the biggest challenge, I was bidding on this hotel project in downtown Washington. And I believe this is maybe 8-9 years ago. And I went to this attorney, a local attorney I know. I told him I want to put a proposal together. And I wrote a proposal. He wrote a proposal. It was just one pager and everything. And I went and submitted. They never called me, not even for an interview. And I said, what happened? And I wrote a letter to the president of the hotel. I said, I want to know why at least did not get a chance to have an interview with you guys. I said, he took me over and said, listen, you send me a couple of pieces of paper. You want to see what proposal look like? And he opened a few proposals, showed me people are writing hundreds of pages of paper. Then I said, okay, this is how you write proposal. Then that was my big challenge, how to write a proposal. I didn't know anything about writing proposal. Proposal, I thought it was just you write your name, your company logo, okay, your executive summary, and then, oh, you know what, I want to pay you $19,000 for this location. And I want to pay you, lease or management deal. So that was the biggest challenge for me to learn how to get to this point. Now, if you see my proposal, I think, I can show you it's maybe 200 pages of proposal that we can write. We have executive summary, because we don't know anything about, we just submit 2-3 pages proposal. Now we have to put, the pro forma, 10 years, 5-year pro forma. You put a lot of stuff on proposal, That was the biggest challenge for me to grow my business. And then now we learn as we go. That's why it took me so long to take it to this different level. Thank you.
How are you sharing your success back home?
How am I sharing my success back home? That was a good question. I'm sharing my success back home. Actually, I just came back from Ethiopia. a few weeks ago when she was calling me. That's why I pushed it to the 28th, because I was coming last week. And in Ethiopia, I have a construction company that I incorporated a few years ago. We do a lot of road projects in Africa, and I have equipment that we rent to Chinese and the local governments. And I hired close to 50 people, and we have 50 people employed in our company. And also, I have 50 young kids that I support. There's a non-profit company that I support, and 50 young people and 50 elderly people that I support every year to my Ethiopian people.
Is there another question?
Last question I will ask. I mean, I don't like one mistake that you regret the most throughout your business career.
Okay, I'm sorry?
One mistake that you've done throughout your business career. One of the mistakes that you have done.
The mistake that I've done? It's a good question. I gotta think. The mistake that I've done, I can tell you a story. Making a decision. The mistake that I've done, it was this contract that we're supposed to get, and then we've been negotiating with another partner. It's a joint venture project. It was a good contract, and the mistake I've done is, we were just fighting for percentage rate, 25, 35, I was negotiating with the partners that from California. They wanted to get this deal, and I think I was, trying to get more out of them, and and then the contract was in our hand, and then I told them, give me 40%, 60%, because they needed my participation, because I knew I can pull the deal in. And finally, and I was 100% confident enough that we get that contract with them, a joint venture contract. And then the guy called me, are you still on 40%? I said, yes, 40%. And we have to submit that contract the next day. And he sent me a nice email saying, I'm sorry, we'd like to do business with you, but we found another partner who can take 25%. That was the mistake I've done. The contract was 5 years, so it was a $10 million contract. So I lost it. So you always gotta, make a decision, because don't hesitate. Stick with your number or change it, and that's the mistake that I've done. They're still working with the partner that I know, still the business is out there. That was a mistake I've done.
Okay, if you have any more questions, we'll be available after this, so you can ask one-on-one. But please join me in thanking Henok. He gracefully accepted the invitation. Also gracefully offered us the use of his mom's place. So come back and eat some good Ethiopian food to support his mother's business. And thank everybody for coming out. It's a rainy day or snowy day, but thank you all for coming. If you have any questions, comments, go on our website. There'll be pictures after tonight. And our next event, I believe, is February 25th. We have 3 authors coming up, Plain Prize winners. So it should be exciting. We'll send out the details. I have one quick announcement. So someone is looking to employ an intern at PCM Strategies, someone who's good in IT, right? So have over there, if you know a student who wants an internship opportunity, talk to him. If you hear any other jobs, you can post them on the website, the bulletin board as well. So thank you all, and hang around and meet some more people.
Young boys, kamikaze or the control level. Yahoo's a